Ecosystem-based management, or EBM, brings a holistic perspective to managing both natural and human systems. It recognizes that people, like managers and stakeholders, are inseparable from the ecosystems they influence. EBM promotes long-term planning, integrating adaptive management to allow flexibility and learning throughout project implementation. By emphasizing the sustained provision of ecosystem services, it underscores the importance of provisioning, regulating, cultural, and supporting functions. This comprehensive approach ensures that environmental decisions are informed, adaptive, and responsive to complex human and ecological needs. There being no source of data specifically related to the refurbishment accidents, 3 general sources of statistical data can be used to investigate the risks involved: the EU safety statistics, the Registrar General's occupation mortality data, and the HSE accident statistics. The EU data is limited to facility statistics, aggregated on an industry basis by the nation. The RIDOR, Reporting of Injuries, Diseases, and Dangerous Occurrences Regulation database, is the major source of data on refurbishment injuries. For the purpose of this paper, the RIDOR work accident data has been analyzed to help establish the chances of injury across the various activities of the refurbishment industry. It also helps to indicate the priority areas for health and safety measures. The accidents on the site can impact the contractors as well as the client and their business in building refurbishment. It may affect the efficiency and productivity of the labor and employees related to the refurbishment work. It may also result in people leaving the work for injuries and sick leave. The revenue generation of the project could decrease due to the specific delays in completion of the work, or because of the damages to the structure that are caused by the unplanned collapses. At the same time, it is important to evaluate the damage that affected the adjoining properties, and it needs to be compensated by the contractor or the client, specifically depending on the responsibility for the damage. An environmental assessment must also be critically analysed in the refurbishment works that involves demolition activities. The environmental aspects like recycle of debris, waste treatment, etc., must also be planned in a secured manner. The environmental impact factors, if not properly assessed, can negatively affect the advantages that are achieved from the refurbishment project. The ISHE is important in the refurbishment projects. This concept states that during building refurbishment, the health and safety concerns should be taken into consideration. All the new buildings must first undergo scrutiny so that it is known how much safe the building would be in refurbishing. This would also mean that the building refurbishment is carried out and safety concerns are determined by recording the evidence. Therefore, ESHA is important in this respect as well. Theoretical framework of ESHA approach. The areas that include management, design, and refurbishment, the participants will have the opportunity to avoid, reduce, and control the risks at 3 basic levels of intervention. The strategic level made of implementing safety strategy, operational issues, which entail safety plans, and tactical levels on the safety actions. In managing refurbishment projects, the focus will be to contain the forces associated with safety, risk, and health issues through strategy, operation, and tactical levels. While zero fatality must always be the prime health and the safety objective, the current level of fatalities would not require a special risk assessment to be taken. The implementation procedure for the ISHA is based on the safety regulations that are added conventionally. Some issues will need to be addressed. The infections should be reduced, and improved hand hygiene should comply to implement the ISHA method. There should be at least 4 participant types, and decisions should be made on 3 levels. The ISHA regulations should comply in this regard, and the hierarchy should be followed. The safety will be checked and regulated on an operational level, and for that purpose, it will be ensured that the specific site processes are carried out by following a particular form of safety method, which, when applied, will make sure that the least accidents during building refurbishment are occurring. Equivalent standard approach is basically an alternative safety approach, which offers replacement of one or more requirements that are set out in regulation under safety authority, wherein the requirements set out are that ISHA can be established by a standard-setting body, a written statement which is signed by a professional, and all written documents that are acknowledged by the safety manager. The ISHA comprises an application and a proposal which are submitted as an application package to the safety authority. Once the package is reviewed by the authority, they might ask for more details before deciding on something. Once they determine the proposal, a written notification is set out for the proposed outcome. It depends on the Safety Authority Board to accept or reject the proposal as deemed fit. ESHA comprises a detailed description of how the proponent would assess and analyse the efficiency of ESHA, wherein audit and inspection have been the main tools for sustaining the quality of the product. Audit and inspection can also be taken into account for recognising as to how safety can be enhanced. Herein, the measures for assuring safety are assessed to their impact and effectiveness. Further, the proposal comprises a description of the procedures which make it certain that ESHA is effective and can be continually enhanced. In managing refurbishment projects, the focus will be to contain the forces associated with safety, risk, and health issues through strategy, operation, and tactical levels. While zero fatality must always be the prime health and the safety objective, the current level of fatalities would not require a special risk assessment to be taken. Health and safety measures play a pivotal role and possess a great deal of influence in the management and designing of refurbishment projects. It can be specifically stated that health and safety measures are one of the key factors in the selection of the methods of demolition for avoiding the structural instability and preventing the structural collapses. It is quite critical to identify the structural collapses events with conventional and unconventional causes. Unconventional causes are related to the catastrophic and natural events like the floods, earthquakes, avalanche, etc., whereas the unconventional causes can be verified, reduced, controlled, or removed. However, evidence-based safety management is an essential aspect since it assesses the economic cases of refurbishment comprising impact on communities and residents, focuses on energy and carbon implications compared to refurbishment, and also integrates social factors. According to this theory, there are only three forms of capital, namely land, labour, and produced capital resources. Only these three forms of capital are to be used for evaluating the sustainability in refurbishment. Therefore, the natural capitalism theory might be of immense importance for the UK refurbishment companies, as the organisations might be able to evaluate the type of land, labour requirements and resources required, which would help in waste elimination. In a refurbishment site, the four main components are required to meet up the requirement of the setting. The component of radical resource productivity helps to obtain the similar or excess amount of productivity from the utilised resource. It helps to maintain and earn a profit in the refurbishment business. The economic case for refurbishment through evidence-based safety management is assessed, and estimated cost and impact of refurbishment are subjective and is uncertain. However, the cost indicators taken into account for such refurbishment and demolition projects are capital expenditures and capital investment appraisal. Key issues are assessed, such as the cost of waste disposal. Long-term impacts are assessed as well. Also, the UK supply chain market lacks in having sufficient information, so evidence-based safety management assists the market to consider varied hidden costs which are related to refurbishment. Reyes and Mansfield, 2001. Considering the current standards of newly built houses outlines that such houses have low operational energy as compared to old ones. But refurbishment of buildings can accomplish lower operational energy levels and can switch fuel sources, taking renewable resources into account. Other essential aspects, such as water and waste management, are also considered, taking into account social factors of well-being, housing, health and urban design as well.